So I was asked a question: without junk or excess food, more unpleasant feelings surface. Any suggestions? Yes, um, I totally understand. When I first stopped eating excess food and junk to cope, I felt so uncomfortable. Um, I think the overriding feeling was exhaustion. Um, and I realise now that this was from trying to manage life so that I would never feel uncomfortable, to make sure um, I always felt okay, to protect myself, to make myself secure. And it didn't work. No matter how much I tried to um, make myself feel better, it didn't work. Um, and what I've learnt over the years is that as the noise around food quietens down, the noise around other things will increase until we learn to let go of them. And what do I mean by let go? Well, um, I had a real issue with sitting with discomfort. I thought that these feelings, um, yeah, I thought it wasn't okay to feel pain. Okay, so that was the first thing. So learning to just sit with what was, that was huge, um, and watch it. And but it took more than that. It took as well as watching the discomfort and sitting with this discomfort, asking myself, why am I feeling this discomfort? What's going on? What am I frightened of? And um, um, am I frightened of somebody saying something, or am I frightened of that I'm not good enough? Am I frightened that um, I won't be okay if they don't change? Am I frightened of being taken advantage of? Am I frightened that I won't ever get enough money? Or, there's so many things that went on in my head that I was trying desperately to manage. And because I suppose I didn't want to feel the feeling of um, so say for example somebody was angry with me. I had this terrible fear that I had an idea that it wasn't okay for people to be angry with me, and everywhere I went I seemed to attract people who were angry with me. And until I got to the point where I was willing to sit with the discomfort of somebody being angry with me, not taking it personally, and letting that be okay, going, okay, they're having a bad day, and this is what it feels like when someone's angry with me, then people stopped being angry with me. It was like I had to learn to sit with that feeling, to let go of the fear. And um, and that's just one small example of um, how when we put down the food. So for years I would have used food to numb out that fear. When I stopped using food, I had to feel the feeling. Okay. um Another example would be, if somebody didn't give me the attention that I thought I deserved, um I'd go into this place of I'm not good enough. Oh my God, what do they think about me? Da 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 da. It's not okay. And then this feeling of um, low self worth, this feeling of needing to be better would come up. And until I sat with the feeling of it's okay just being, this is as good as I am today. This is, I can't be any better. I'm not any worse. This is it. And let that be okay. And felt the discomfort of just being mediocre, of just being average, of just being good enough. Um, that was when, though, that discomfort started to pass. So when you ask, um, how do we deal with the surfacing of these unpleasant feelings? It's a case of sitting with them, watching them, becoming aware of them, realizing that you're not them, that it's an idea that's creating the feeling, the unpleasant feeling, the idea that things aren't okay as they are. Things should be different now. But actually, nothing should be different now. It is as it is. It's exactly as it's meant to be. I am as I'm meant to be, and everyone else is as they are meant to be. And it's about getting some distance from the thinking and watching it and going, I don't need to believe that to be true. I don't need to believe that I'm not good enough. I don't need to believe that I'm better than everyone else. I don't need to believe that I'm worse than everyone else. I don't need to believe that people shouldn't be angry with me. That causes me to suffer, and I'm done with suffering. So I continue to get these things all the time where I go, God, what's going on with me now? What do I need to let go of? It's a journey, but I don't feel anything like the pain that I did in the early days when I first put down the food. It was like there was an avalanche of emotions coming at me, stuff that I hadn't dealt with for years. So hang in there, keep it in the day. You'll get hard days and you'll get easy days, and the easy days will get more and more frequent. And if we escape into food and if we try to numb out, we just add layers on top of the suffering, and we don't liberate ourselves from that suffering. We actually just make it worse. We shove it down and it has to come up again, and we shove it down and it comes up again, and we end up in the cycle. Whereas if we have the courage not to numb ourselves out with food and feel it, that's where the freedom starts. I'm not saying it's comfortable, and it's easy for me to say this now, 13 years on, and I don't have a lot of the suffering that I used to have. In the moment, it felt real and it felt hard and it felt really uncomfortable. But I knew that I knew what didn't work, which was numbing myself out. And I suppose I chose a different path, not knowing where it was going to lead, but there was a sort of a blind faith that I would find freedom because other people told me I would. And that's what I did, a day at a time. Anyway, I hope that helps.